Anytime I'm building a report in Google Sheets, my goal is to not make people think, to not confuse anyone or have it be at all not clear what you're supposed to do in a report. So let's just highlight this quickly here. So one way to do that is to use the Google Sheets data validation feature, which basically allows you to build these really nice drop-down menus and then just change the design of these. It's kind of nifty. Never used the word nifty before in my life, but that's the first time for everything. So data validations allow you to build these drop-down menus in Sheets. And what these allow you to do is select something in a menu and have it flow through. You can use that value then as a dynamic variable elsewhere in your sheet. So let's take a look at how this is really built. First of all, how do you build these drop-down menus? How do you get this thing to show up with these options? And where are those options pulling from? So if you go to data validation, let's move this down here. So you can see, okay, this is the range of that validation. It was in B5 here. Well, we can't move that off the screen. But you basically select list from a range, and if you select this select data range pop out, it'll say, okay, where do you want the options for this drop-down menu to come from? And in our case, we're saying column C of the tweets tab. If we pop over to tweets, what's in the tweets tab, the column C of the tweets tab, is a bunch of handles for Twitter data that we're analyzing here. If you've watched any of the other Coding is for Losers query videos or taken any of our courses, we always analyze Twitter data, so that's why we're doing this. But yeah, if you basically set your data range to that handles column and save that, that will populate your drop-down menu. So here are all of the handles that we had, the unique handles that we had in that table. So how do we implement this within a query? Say we wanted to count the number of tweets for each handle that we had selected. It's actually a pretty straightforward query. There's just one trick here. We're selecting our data range, the tweets range A through D. We're selecting our handle, column C, and our count of, you could count any column, but we're counting the retweets column. And we're saying where the handle, where C is equal to cell B5. And that's, if you can see this highlighted, that's our data validation handle. And then grouping by that handle, because we're counting. So, what are the nuances here? It's basically two things. One, we obviously, well, three things really. We need to single quote, since we're doing text in the dropdown, on either side of the variable here. We need to close the query. So a query is just a string, and in this case it's denoted with these double quotes on either side. So in order to get back into the space where we can, select a cell and kind of freely move around like we're in a spreadsheet and eventually get back to cell B5 here, we need to close these quotes, because if we don't, then this will just be read as text. But once we close those quotes, then we're in like variable space. And we use these ampersands on either side to say we're not just selecting B5, we're adding whatever's in B5 to this to the string of the query. So we're adding really just the value that's in B5, not B5 itself. And if you'll notice, we take those ampersands away, we get an error there. So we need single quotes to say that this is a string and we're quoting the string. We want to pull anything equal to the text of Ben L. Collins. Double quotes to close the query, and then ampersands to add whatever's in cell B5 to this text of the query. So we'll see that works, and obviously we can select another handle. Just for your reference, I want to show you just what this actually looks like And what this is doing, it's just changing the text that's in the query string to match up with that value. So I use these data validations in almost any report that I'm building in Sheets or any kind of like process. If you've used any of the Coding is for Losers templates, they all have these drop-down menus on the kind of settings tab, so that people aren't confused when they're using them. So in my opinion, they're just one of those great features of Sheets that makes your reporting really easy to use. So hope that helps. If you want, you can grab the query and Google Sheet formula cheat sheet from Coding is for Losers, which is in the description to the video. Take care.